Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear me today. Life has a way of shaking us, of stirring things up, of tossing us into places we never thought we'd go. And sometimes we resist. We cling to what's familiar, what's comfortable, even when it's holding us back. But I want to tell you something this morning. Change is not your enemy. Change is your friend. Change is the river that carries you from who you were to who you were meant to be. You see, growth doesn't come when things stay the same. Growth doesn't come when we sit in the safety of our comfort zones. No, growth comes when we dare to step into the unknown, when we open our hearts to the new, when we say, Lord, I'm ready for what's next. Today, we're going to talk about embracing change. Not with fear, not with hesitation, but with boldness, with faith, with courage. Because the key to personal growth is not avoiding change. The key is embracing it. Life, my friends, is moving. It never stops. It never waits for anyone, and it certainly doesn't pause for our comfort. The seasons change whether we like it or not. The sun rises and the sun sets, whether we're ready or not. The tides of our lives ebb and flow. The winds of circumstance blow in directions we can neither predict nor control. And yet, here we stand, thinking somehow that life owes us stillness, stability, predictability. Let me tell you something today. Change is inevitable. It is coming. It is on its way. And it is not asking for permission. The question is not whether change will come. It is whether we are ready to meet it when it does. Change comes in many forms. Sometimes it comes as a whisper, almost imperceptible, a quiet nudge that asks us to pause and consider a new direction. A gentle suggestion that maybe, just maybe, the path we are on isn't the one we were meant to walk forever. But change can also roar into our lives like a storm, knocking down everything we thought was certain. Jobs end, relationships shift, health fluctuates, opportunities appear, and doors close. Change is not always polite. Change does not always come with a warning. But the one thing you can count on, the one thing you can trust with absolute certainty, is that change will come. And when it comes, the choice is ours. Not about avoiding it, but about how we respond to it. Here is the truth that some of us struggle to understand. Growth is optional. Change comes to everyone, but not everyone grows from it. Life will hand us experiences, challenges, losses, and victories. Life will hand us change. But if we don't choose to learn from it, if we don't choose to stretch ourselves, if we don't choose to rise, then we remain stagnant. We remain small. We remain trapped in yesterday, wishing things were different, blaming circumstances, resenting the change, afraid to step into the unknown. Growth is not automatic. Growth requires action. Growth requires courage. Growth requires faith. And most of all, growth requires a choice. You see, when change comes, and it will, some people panic. Some people resist. Some people clutch at the familiar, hold tight to the routines, the habits, the patterns that feel safe, even when they no longer serve them. But the truth is, resistance only prolongs the struggle. Resistance only intensifies the fear. Resistance only delays the growth that is waiting on the other side. You cannot embrace who you are meant to become while holding on to who you were. You cannot move forward while clinging to the past. And yet, many of us do exactly that. We resist, we fight, we push against the inevitable, thinking somehow that our stubbornness can change the course of life itself. And when we do, we discover the pain of stagnation, the frustration of unfulfilled potential, the quiet despair of wasted opportunities. But for those who choose differently, those who choose to see change not as an enemy, but as a messenger, not as a threat, but as a teacher, life becomes an entirely different journey. When we choose to embrace change, to see it as a signal that we are being called higher, that we are being stretched, that we are being prepared for something greater, growth becomes possible. Growth becomes natural. Growth becomes inevitable. And growth transforms not only our circumstances, but also our character, our perspective, our very soul. Think about a tree planted in the soil. Seasons come and go. Storms come and go. The wind bends its branches. The rain soaks its roots. The sun burns and warms. The tree does not fight the seasons. It does not resist the storms. It bends, it sways, it adapts. And in the process, it grows stronger. Its roots dig deeper. Its trunk thickens. Its branches reach higher. Life works the same way. Change is the storm, the wind, the sun, the rain. And growth is the tree's choice to reach upward and outward in response. The choice to grow is ours to make. Change will happen regardless. Growth is ours to embrace. Some of you may be sitting here today thinking, I'm tired of change. I don't want to grow. I just want life to stay the same. And I hear you. I know the fear. I know the hesitation. Change is hard. Change is uncomfortable. Change challenges our identity, shakes our confidence, and sometimes makes us question everything we thought we knew. But I want to remind you of this: comfort zones may feel safe, but they are not sacred. Comfort zones do not produce greatness. Comfort zones do not produce wisdom. Comfort zones do not produce the fullness of life that God, or the universe, or your own higher purpose has intended for you. Growth lies just outside the borders of comfort. Growth is waiting on the other side of fear. Growth is the reward for those brave enough to embrace the inevitability of change. And here is the most important part. Growth does not require perfection. Growth does not require that you have all the answers. Growth does not require that you have a complete roadmap of your life. Growth only requires a willingness to take the next step. Growth only requires a willingness to move forward, even when the path is unclear. Growth only requires faith that change, though unpredictable, is working in your favor if you allow it to teach you, mold you, and shape you. Every challenge, every setback, every detour contains within it a lesson, a revelation, a key to your next level of growth. But if you refuse to embrace it, if you refuse to learn, if you refuse to step into it, that opportunity is lost. Change will still come, yes, but growth may pass you by. So I want you to hear me clearly today. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Life is moving. The seasons are changing. The circumstances are shifting. The people around you are evolving. The world is transforming. You cannot stop it. You cannot pause it. You cannot negotiate with it. But you can choose how you respond. You can choose whether you rise or you retreat. You can choose whether you see change as a threat or an invitation. You can choose whether you remain stagnant or whether you grow. The choice is yours. And when you choose growth, when you choose to embrace change with open arms and an open heart, something miraculous happens. Fear begins to diminish. Courage begins to increase. Confidence begins to rise. Doors that were once closed begin to open. New opportunities appear. New relationships, new experiences, new dimensions of life emerge. Growth transforms not only the external circumstances of your life, but also the internal landscape of your soul. And eventually, you look back and realize that every change, no matter how difficult, no matter how unexpected, was preparing you for something greater, shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. So today, I encourage you, I challenge you, I plead with you, do not resist change. Do not fear it. Do not fight it. Let it come. Let it shape you. Let it teach you. And most importantly, choose growth. Choose to rise. Choose to stretch. Choose to become the person you were always meant to be. Because change is inevitable, my friends. But growth is yours to claim. And when you claim it, when you truly embrace it, your life will never be the same again. Fear. It is a powerful force, isn't it? Some of us have felt it in the middle of the night, when the world is quiet and the mind is loud. Some of us have felt it when life whispers, change is coming, or when circumstances shift, leaving us unsure of what the next step should be. Fear of the unknown. It is one of the most subtle, yet most dangerous enemies we face, because it doesn't announce itself with a loud voice. No, it creeps in quietly, like a shadow over our dreams, like a fog clouding our vision, like a voice inside our head that says, "You cannot do this. You are not ready. Stay where you are." And when fear takes hold, it has the power to stop us from moving forward. It has the power to block our personal transformation. You see, transformation is not for the faint of heart. Growth, true growth, requires stepping into the unfamiliar, stepping into the untested, stepping into spaces that make our stomachs twist and our hearts race. Transformation demands that we let go of the safety of what we know, the security of routine, and the comfort of predictability. But fear, it whispers, "Don't move. Stay here. It's safer to remain where you are." And if we listen, we remain trapped, stuck in cycles of frustration, stuck in patterns that no longer serve us, stuck in a version of ourselves that we have outgrown. Fear of the unknown manifests in many ways. Sometimes it appears as procrastination, delaying decisions because we are afraid of what might happen. Sometimes it appears as self-doubt, questioning our abilities, underestimating our strength, thinking that we are not equipped to handle what lies ahead. Sometimes it appears as avoidance, turning away from opportunities, refusing to take risks, staying in situations that feel familiar even though they hold us back. And sometimes, fear shows up as excuses, those little stories we tell ourselves to justify why we aren't moving forward. I'll wait until I'm ready. I need more time. I don't know enough. All of these are symptoms of fear of the unknown, and all of them stand in the way of transformation. But here is the truth, and it is a truth that changes everything. The unknown is not your enemy. The unknown is not a threat. It is a gateway. It is the place where potential lives. It is the space where growth waits for you, ready to meet you, when you are willing to step into it. Transformation cannot happen without the unknown, because the unknown is where life challenges you, stretches you, and shapes you into the person you were meant to become. The fear that you feel is not a signal to stop. It is a signal that something important is about to happen. It is a signal that you are on the verge of breaking through to a higher level of yourself, a better version of yourself. Think about the moments in your life when you grew the most. Was it when everything was predictable and easy? Was it when you stayed in your comfort zone, following the same routines day after day? Or was it when you faced uncertainty? When you stepped into the unfamiliar, when you dared to take risks, even though you didn't know what the outcome would be? Every story of transformation begins in the unknown. Every journey to personal growth begins with a step that is uncertain, a leap of faith, a willingness to face what we cannot yet see. And yet, so many of us allow fear to stop us before the journey even begins. Fear convinces us that staying in the known is safer. But what it doesn't tell us is that staying in the known often leads to stagnation. Staying in the known keeps us small. Staying in the known keeps us from discovering our potential, from realizing our purpose, from experiencing the fullness of life that we are capable of living. Fear paints a picture of danger where there is opportunity. Fear magnifies risks and minimizes possibilities. And if we let fear rule us, we trade our dreams for comfort, our potential for safety, and our transformation for routine. But here is the good news: fear is not permanent. Fear is not unchangeable. Fear is not a sentence. Fear is a feeling that you can acknowledge, confront, and move through. And when you do, transformation becomes possible. When you learn to recognize fear for what it is, when you learn to step forward despite it, when you learn to embrace uncertainty as a teacher rather than a threat, you unlock doors that were previously closed. You discover strengths you didn't know you had. You uncover courage that was hidden behind hesitation. You realize that the unknown, once feared, is actually a doorway to freedom, to growth, to personal transformation. Transformation requires courage. The courage to face fear, the courage to trust yourself, the courage to take the first step, even when you cannot see the whole path. It requires faith, the faith that the unknown is not a void, but a space where opportunity and possibility exist. And it requires action, the willingness to move forward, even when your heart is trembling, even when your mind is filled with doubts, even when the road ahead seems unclear. Every person who has ever transformed their life has done so by stepping into the unknown, by refusing to let fear dictate their destiny, by choosing to believe that what lies ahead is greater than what they leave behind. So I want you to hear me clearly today. Fear of the unknown does not have to block your transformation. You have the power to confront it. You have the power to rise above it. You have the power to step into uncertainty with faith, courage, and determination. Life will always present unknowns, changes, challenges, opportunities, twists, and turns. But it is not the unknown that defines you. It is your response to it. It is whether you let fear paralyze you or whether you let faith propel you forward. The unknown is where transformation lives. The unknown is where your potential is waiting. The unknown is where your dreams are calling you. And the only way to reach it is to move through fear, not around it. Embrace uncertainty. Welcome challenges. Trust that the steps you take, even if tentative, are steps toward a greater version of yourself. Let go of the illusion of control. Let go of the comfort of predictability and step boldly into the unknown, knowing that personal transformation is waiting for you on the other side. Fear of the unknown can block personal transformation, but it does not have to. You are stronger than your fear. You are braver than your doubts. You are capable of more than you can see in this moment. And if you are willing to step forward, if you are willing to take the first step, even when you cannot see the entire staircase, you will discover a life that is richer, deeper, and more fulfilling than you ever imagined. So today, let fear be your signal, not your stop sign. Let it remind you that something important is on the horizon. Let it push you to step into the unknown with courage. Because personal transformation does not happen in the safe, the familiar, or the predictable. It happens in the unknown. It happens when you rise above fear. It happens when you take the leap. It happens when you embrace life fully, without hesitation, without doubt, without delay. And that, my friends, is where true growth, true change, and true freedom begin. Life, my friends, is not static. Life does not wait for anyone to catch up. Life does not pause so that we can be comfortable, convenient, or certain. No, life moves, life shifts, life changes. And if we are to survive, not just survive, but thrive, we must learn to embrace change. Not as an inconvenience, not as a punishment, not as a disruption, but as a powerful teacher, a force that strengthens our spirit, sharpens our mind, and builds our character. You see, when we embrace change, we are doing more than simply responding to circumstance. We are cultivating resilience. We are cultivating adaptability. We are preparing ourselves to not only endure life's storms, but to rise above them with grace and strength. Resilience is not something we are born with. It is something we develop. It is forged in the crucible of experience, tempered by the trials of life, and strengthened by our willingness to face what is uncomfortable and unfamiliar. Change, whether it comes as a gentle nudge or a fierce storm, is one of the most powerful tools for building resilience. Every time life shifts, every time circumstances force us to adjust, we are given an opportunity to strengthen our inner core. Every time we encounter the unexpected, every time a door closes or a path changes, we are given a chance to rise above fear, to stretch beyond limitation, to discover depths of courage we never knew existed. Change challenges us, yes, but it also transforms us. And those who embrace it, who step willingly into the new and uncertain, are the ones who emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable than before. Adaptability, too, is born from change. The world around us is constantly in motion. Technology evolves, economies shift, relationships transform, opportunities appear and disappear. Those who cling stubbornly to the old ways, those who resist transformation, find themselves left behind. But those who learn to bend, to sway, to move with the rhythm of life, discover that they can thrive no matter the circumstances. Embracing change teaches us flexibility. It teaches us to see possibilities instead of obstacles. It teaches us that when one path closes, another can open, if only we are willing to adjust, to pivot, to think creatively, to remain open to new solutions and new directions. Adaptability is not passive, it is active. It is a choice. And that choice is available to anyone who is willing to meet change with an open heart and a determined spirit. Think about a river, my friends. The river does not fight the rocks that fall in its path. The river does not resist the twists and turns in its journey. The river does not stop when the current shifts or when obstacles arise. Instead, it flows around them, over them, finding a way forward with persistence and grace. That is what embracing change does for the human spirit. When we choose to embrace change, we learn to flow with life rather than fight against it. We learn to see every challenge not as a wall, but as a stepping stone. We learn to move forward even when the path is uncertain, because we know that flexibility and perseverance will carry us to new heights. Resilience and adaptability are not just virtues, they are survival skills. Life is unpredictable. Challenges will come. Trials will test us. Hardship will knock at our door. But those who have cultivated resilience are able to absorb the impact, recover, and move forward with renewed strength. Those who have embraced adaptability can navigate change without being paralyzed by fear, frustration, or resistance. They are able to pivot, to innovate, to find solutions where others see only problems. And the beauty of it is this: every time we face change and embrace it, we grow stronger. Every time we adjust to a new reality, we become more capable. Every time we step into the unknown with faith and courage, we expand our capacity to handle whatever life may throw our way. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, but change is scary. Change is uncomfortable. Change makes me feel uncertain. And you are right. Change is not always easy. Change is not always pleasant. Change can be frightening, disorienting, and overwhelming. But here is the truth. The discomfort of change is temporary, but the strength it builds lasts a lifetime. Every time we face the unfamiliar, every time we stretch ourselves beyond what is comfortable, we develop resilience. Every time we adapt, adjust, and move forward in the face of uncertainty, we build the muscles of adaptability. And those muscles, my friends, will carry us through storms, through setbacks, through seasons of challenge that we cannot yet imagine. Embracing change also builds confidence. It reminds us that we are capable of more than we think. It teaches us that we can survive disruption, overcome obstacles, and thrive even when circumstances shift unexpectedly. Every time we face change and choose not to run, every time we meet it with courage instead of fear, we are proving to ourselves that we have the strength, the wisdom, and the resourcefulness to handle life. And as we grow in confidence, we find that change becomes less of a threat and more of an opportunity. We start to see that life is not something that happens to us. It is something we can navigate, shape, and thrive within. And let us not forget that embracing change also inspires those around us. People are drawn to those who can handle uncertainty with grace, who can pivot without panic, who can rise above challenge with resilience. When we embrace change, we model adaptability and courage for others. We show them that fear does not have to be paralyzing, that the unknown can be an opportunity, that growth and transformation are possible, no matter what circumstances we face. Our willingness to embrace change becomes a beacon of hope, a source of strength, and a reminder that life's challenges are not the end. They are the beginning of something greater. So I want you to hear me clearly today: embrace change. Do not resist it. Do not fear it. Do not allow it to shake you into doubt or despair. Instead, meet it with courage. Meet it with faith. Meet it with a willingness to learn, to adapt, to grow. Let change build your resilience. Let it sharpen your adaptability. Let it stretch your mind, your heart, and your spirit. Because those who embrace change are not just surviving, they are thriving. They are becoming the people they were always meant to be. They are discovering strength they never knew existed, courage they never knew they had, and possibilities they never imagined were within reach. Remember, this life will always change. Circumstances will always shift. The world will continue to evolve. But you can rise above fear. You can flow like the river. You can bend without breaking. You can move with grace, confidence, and power. Embracing change builds resilience and adaptability. It transforms weakness into strength, uncertainty into opportunity, and fear into faith. And those who embrace it fully will discover a life that is not only richer and deeper, but unshakable in its ability to endure, to grow, and to triumph. Life, my friends, is a journey, and every journey has a past. Some of us carry our past with us like a heavy weight, dragging it behind us as we try to move forward. We hold on to old mistakes, old hurts, old regrets, and old disappointments. We replay the what ifs and if-onlys in our minds, and we let those memories chain us to yesterday. But here is the truth I want you to hear today. The past is a teacher, not a prison. And if we refuse to let it go, it can close doors, block paths, and keep us from stepping into the opportunities that await us. Letting go of the past is not easy. It requires courage. It requires honesty. It requires a willingness to face our pain, to acknowledge our mistakes, and to forgive not only others, but ourselves. The past has a way of whispering in our ears, telling us that we are not enough, that we are too broken, that we are not worthy of the blessings that lie ahead. But those lies are only true if we choose to believe them. If we release the grip of the past, if we stop letting it define our present, if we stop letting it dictate our future, then we make room for new opportunities, new relationships, new dreams, and new levels of growth. Think about it for a moment. When your hands are full, you cannot receive. If you are holding tightly onto yesterday, how can you embrace today? If you are clutching the memories of past failures, how can you reach for future victories? If you are anchored to old disappointments, how can you sail toward new dreams? Letting go is the act of emptying our hands so that we can grasp the blessings that are waiting. It is the act of opening our hearts so that we can feel joy, hope, and possibility again. It is the act of freeing our minds so that we can think creatively, act boldly, and pursue what we were meant to pursue. Now, some of you may be saying, but the past hurts. The past defines me. I cannot just let it go. And I hear you. I know the pain. I know the memories that replay like a broken record, the regrets that gnaw at our hearts, the mistakes that we cannot seem to forgive ourselves for. But the reality is this: holding on to the past does not honor it. Holding on to the past does not change it. Holding on to the past only keeps us from living fully in the present and moving boldly into the future. Letting go is not forgetting, it is freeing. It is not erasing, it is embracing. It is not denial, it is faith that what lies ahead is greater than what is behind. Every person who has achieved greatness, every person who has reached new heights, every person who has stepped into a life of fulfillment has learned the art of letting go. They have faced their past, acknowledged it, learned from it, and then released it. They have refused to be held hostage by yesterday's failures. yesterday's pain, or yesterday's regrets. And when they did, doors opened, opportunities appeared, new paths revealed themselves, new relationships, new ideas, new experiences became available because they were no longer trapped in the grip of what had been. Letting go of the past is also an act of faith. It is a declaration that you trust life, that you trust God, that you trust the process of growth, that you trust that your future is not limited by your history. It is a choice to believe that just because something did not work out before does not mean it will never work out. It is a choice to believe that every ending can be a beginning, that every loss can be a lesson, that every disappointment can pave the way for a greater blessing. And when we make that choice, when we open ourselves to the possibilities that lie ahead, we become unstoppable. We become empowered. We become ready to seize the opportunities that were always meant for us. Think about a bird, my friends. A bird cannot soar with a stone in its talons. It cannot fly high if it is weighed down. The bird must release what it carries in order to rise. And the same is true for us. We cannot reach our potential. We cannot experience new opportunities. We cannot achieve the dreams that live inside of us if we are tethered to the past. We must let go. We must release. We must trust that what we leave behind does not define who we are or where we are going. Only then can we soar. Only then can we rise. Only then can we step into the life we were designed to live. Letting go also allows us to grow emotionally and spiritually. The past can be a source of wisdom, but only if we learn from it and then release it. Dwelling on mistakes can keep us trapped in guilt, shame, or resentment. Clinging to old wounds can prevent us from loving fully, giving fully, and living fully. But when we choose to let go, we create space for healing. We create space for forgiveness. We create space for love, joy, and fulfillment. We create space for transformation. The past becomes a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. It becomes a guide, not a jailer. It becomes a teacher, not a tormentor. And let me tell you something else. New opportunities will not wait for you to hold on to the past. Life will continue to move forward. Doors will open. Paths will appear. Blessings will come. But only if you are willing to release your grip, step forward, and embrace them. If you remain tethered to what was, you will miss what could be. If you remain chained to old regrets, you will never reach new victories. But if you let go, if you trust, if you act, you will find that life has a way of surprising you, of guiding you, of bringing into your life exactly what you need at exactly the right time. So I want you to hear me clearly today. Letting go of the past is not weakness. It is power. It is not surrender. It is strength. It is not giving up. It is stepping into what is next. The past has shaped you, yes, but it does not have to limit you. The past has taught you, yes, but it does not have to confine you. The past has been real, yes, but it does not have to define you. Let it go. Release it. Forgive it. Learn from it. And then open yourself to the doors, the opportunities, the blessings, and the transformations that await you. Remember this, my friend's life moves forward whether you do or not. The past can hold you back, or it can propel you forward. The choice is yours. Step boldly into the present. Release what no longer serves you. Trust in the possibilities that lie ahead. And when you do, you will discover that letting go of the past is not the end. It is the beginning of everything you were meant to experience, achieve, and become. Life, my friends, is full of transitions. Seasons change, circumstances shift, relationships evolve, and opportunities appear and disappear. The world around us is never stagnant, and the very nature of life demands movement. Yet, it is in these moments of transition, when the old is ending and the new has not yet fully arrived, that we are tested the most. It is in these moments that fear can creep in, doubt can whisper lies, and uncertainty can feel overwhelming. But I want you to hear me today. Faith and courage are not optional when navigating life's transitions. They are essential. Without faith and courage, transitions become trials that crush us. With faith and courage, they become stepping stones that elevate us to new heights. Faith is the anchor in the storm. Faith is the belief that what we cannot yet see is still real, that what has not yet appeared is still coming, that the unseen forces of life, of destiny, of God are working on our behalf. Faith allows us to trust the journey, even when the path is unclear. Faith allows us to rise above fear, to move forward when logic says stop, and to embrace possibility when circumstances suggest limitation. Without faith, transitions become paralyzing. Without faith, we cling to the familiar even when it no longer serves us. Without faith, we allow fear to dictate our steps and doubt to define our decisions. Faith is not passive, it is active. It is the decision to trust, the choice to believe, the commitment to keep moving even when the way is not fully visible. Courage, my friends, is the muscle that allows faith to move from belief into action. Faith without courage is like a seed that never sprouts. It has potential, but it cannot grow. Courage is the willingness to take the next step, even when your knees are shaking, even when your heart is pounding, even when your mind is filled with uncertainty. Courage is the strength to embrace discomfort, to face challenges head on, and to walk boldly into the unknown. Transitions require courage because they demand that we leave behind the familiar, release what no longer serves us, and step into a space where the outcome is not guaranteed. Every great transformation, every life-changing opportunity, every breakthrough requires courage, because nothing worth achieving happens within the bounds of comfort. Think about the moments in your life when you grew the most. Were they the moments when everything was easy, predictable, and comfortable? Or were they the moments when you had to leap into uncertainty, when you had to trust that the steps ahead would carry you, when you had to believe in yourself and in something greater than yourself? Life's transitions are precisely those moments. They test our faith, they challenge our courage, and they demand that we rise to the occasion. And here is the truth. The greater the transition, the greater the opportunity for growth. The greater the challenge, the greater the potential for transformation. Transitions also demand patience. Faith and courage are not just about action. They are about endurance. Sometimes the new season does not arrive as quickly as we expect. Sometimes the doors we are waiting for remain closed a little longer than we would like. Sometimes we feel like we are in a wilderness, wandering without direction. But faith reminds us that timing is not ours to control. Faith reminds us that even in the waiting, growth is happening. Faith reminds us that the unseen forces of life are orchestrating something far greater than what we can imagine. Courage allows us to keep moving, to keep believing, to keep striving, even when the road is long and the path is unclear. Together, faith and courage create the resilience we need to navigate life's transitions without giving up, without despair, and without losing hope. Many of us have experienced transitions that felt impossible to navigate. A job lost, a relationship ended, a dream deferred, a health challenge, a move to an unfamiliar place. In those moments, fear can feel overwhelming. Doubt can feel like a crushing weight. The temptation to retreat into safety, to cling to the past, to resist change is strong. But faith and courage break those chains. Faith reminds us that what is coming is greater than what is behind. Faith reminds us that every ending is also a beginning. Faith reminds us that we are equipped for the journey, even when it feels daunting. Courage reminds us to take the steps that fear tells us are impossible. Courage reminds us that we are stronger than our doubts, braver than our insecurities, and capable of more than we can imagine. Faith and courage together allow us to move through transitions with strength, dignity, and hope. Think about a butterfly, my friends. Before it can fly, it must go through a transformation. It must leave behind the familiar comfort of the cocoon. It must endure the struggle of breaking free. It must trust in the process, even though the outcome is unknown. And when it emerges, it is not the same creature it was before. It is stronger, more beautiful, more capable of soaring to heights it could not have reached otherwise. That is what faith and courage do for us during life's transitions. They allow us to leave behind what no longer serves us. They allow us to endure the struggle. They allow us to emerge transformed, equipped to reach heights we never dreamed possible. Faith and courage also inspire others. When we navigate transitions with trust and bravery, we become living examples of what is possible. People see our resilience, our determination, our willingness to step into the unknown, and they are encouraged to do the same. We create a ripple effect, demonstrating that transitions are not obstacles, they are opportunities. That challenges are not dead ends, they are doors. That fear and uncertainty are not signs to stop, they are signals to rise. By embracing faith and courage, we not only navigate our own journeys more effectively, we also light the way for those around us. So I want you to hear me clearly today. Faith and courage are essential to navigate life's transitions. Do not wait for fear to pass. Do not wait for certainty to arrive. Do not wait for everything to feel safe. Step forward with faith in the unseen, with courage in your heart, and with trust that the process is shaping you for something greater. Embrace the changes, endure the challenges, and welcome the opportunities that come with every transition. Because it is through faith and courage that the impossible becomes possible, the unknown becomes navigable, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Remember this, my friends. Transitions are not the end of your story. They are the beginning of a new chapter. Faith gives you the vision to see what is possible. Courage gives you the strength to step into it. Together, they create the power to transform your life, elevate your spirit, and carry you to heights you never imagined. Step boldly. Believe fully. Move forward fearlessly. Your future is waiting, and it will respond to the faith and courage you bring today. So today, my friends, I want you to hear me clearly. Life is moving. Life is shifting. Life is changing. And it will continue to do so whether we are ready or not. Change is inevitable. But growth, that, my friends, is optional. Growth requires a decision. Growth requires courage. Growth requires faith. Growth requires a willingness to step into the unknown, to release the past, to embrace new opportunities, and to trust that life is leading you exactly where you need to be. You see, fear of the unknown will try to hold you back. Doubt will whisper lies. Comfort will tempt you to stay small, but you were not made to stay small. You were not made to cling to yesterday. You were made to rise, to stretch, to grow, and to become the person you were always meant to be. Every change, every challenge, every transition is a doorway to new strength, new resilience, new wisdom, and new possibilities. But you must choose to walk through it. You must choose to rise above fear. You must choose to embrace the process, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it is uncertain, even when it feels impossible. Letting go of the past is not surrender. It is power. It is the key that unlocks doors to opportunities you cannot yet see. Embracing change is not weakness. It is courage. It is the pathway to resilience and adaptability. And through it all, faith and courage must be your companions, guiding you, sustaining you, reminding you that you are not alone and that what lies ahead is greater than what you leave behind. So I challenge you today, stop resisting the inevitable. Stop clinging to what no longer serves you. Stop letting fear of the unknown keep you from stepping into your destiny. Open your hands. Open your heart. Embrace the new, the unknown, the uncertain. Trust the process. Believe in your potential. And move forward boldly, knowing that every step you take toward change is a step toward growth, freedom, and the life you were created to live. Remember, this change is coming, yes, but it is your response that defines you. Growth is waiting, yes, but it is your choice to claim it. Life is calling you to rise, to stretch, to transform. And if you are willing to embrace it with courage, with faith, and with an open heart, there is nothing that can stop you. Nothing. You will not just survive, you will thrive. You will not just endure, you will conquer. You will not just exist, you will become the very best version of yourself. So stand up, my friends. Step forward. Take hold of the life that is waiting for you. Let go of the past. Embrace the change. Walk boldly into the unknown. And watch as the doors of opportunities swing wide open. The power of resilience carries you forward, and your personal growth transforms your life in ways you never dreamed possible. Because the truth is simple, and it is powerful. Embracing change is not just the key to personal growth. It is the key to unlocking the extraordinary life that is already inside of you. And that, my friends, is where your journey begins.